FM, South Florida's #1 gospel station.
The best or nothing else. It's New Season Gospel FM.
Churchill said there's nothing to fear but fear itself. That's the destructive monster. So turn off things that can contribute to your fear. Turn a deaf ear to people that all they can do is talk about how negative things are because they have bought into the consciousness of the world. Start attending workshops, seminars, listening to tapes on a daily basis to begin to recondition your mind, to retrain your thinking. Faith comes by what? Hearing and hearing and hearing. Listen to things that can empower you, that can enable you to create a new reality for yourself, and a new life for yourself. You might appear to be strange around most people. You know, most people think you're strange if you're happy today. People say, "How you doing?" I said, "Better than good." Whoa, what's wrong with him? Just go around smiling and watch people. Look at this. This is a weird guy over here. Because most people don't smile. Watch them. Look at their faces in the morning. Here we go, another Monday morning. How you doing? Haven't had my coffee yet. Don't ask me. See, these people have not found their purpose in life. That's why they're grumpy. That's why they're miserable. That's why they're so negative. They're hurting and they want to hurt other people. So start practicing using programs for your mind. Seminars, books, workshops. Keep a journal. Record your thoughts, what's happening with you. Every day when you get up, have a journal near you. I use a Jack Boland journal so that I can write down my ideas. I keep it by my bed so I can write down my thoughts. See, ladies and gentlemen, we get 3 to 4 thoughts a year that if we would act on those thoughts, they could change our life. When you don't have a true appreciation and acceptance for who you are, and you allow yourself to be immobilized by fear, what happens in the process is that you begin to abuse yourself. You begin to sabotage your life, you begin to sabotage your dreams, you begin to unconsciously work against yourself. You become your own worst enemy. So what do you do about that? Well, you begin to realize that your dream and your gifts have so much meaning and so much value for you till your hunger for them will begin to push you past the fear. Your hunger to have them will give you a special drive. As you work on yourself, as you begin to acknowledge your true identity, the true power that you have, the true capacity you have to bring about change, the miracle working power that you have within yourself to do the things that you want to do. When you take them on, I'm reminded of a man who, this gentleman was doing a special study of a special tribe in Africa, headhunters. And he had difficulty in developing a relationship with these tribesmen because of the fact that he had fear. He had fear they would take his head. So he worked there for a long time with no effort, no progress in developing a relationship and rapport and being able to achieve a level of trust. So finally one night while he was in bed, he was thinking about it. I said, what is it that you came here to do? What is your life work as a missionary? He said, I wanted to study these tribesmen. He said, what's the worst thing that they can do to you? Kill you. And he just decided, hey, this is what I came here to do. I know that there's some risk involved, and I'm going to do it, come what may. He said, I'm not going to be afraid anymore. He went back the next day, and he started doing the work and trying to talk to and interview many of the members of this tribe. And they began to respond to him. They threw out the welcome mat to him. And years later, when people came to see what his progress was, they asked him, how were you able to do this? How did you convert the relationship from being hostile to that of being positive. And he said something I think has value for all of us. He said, when life can no longer threaten you with death, he said, what else is there? And the majority of the fears that we have are not life or death fears. They're not those kind of fears. But through our imagination, we blow them out of proportion and we give them more power than they actually have or deserve, and we permit them to govern our lives. We permit them to determine how far we can stretch out on our dreams and discovering our stuff. And as we begin to look at ourselves and begin to, wait a minute, just getting to the point as you assess yourself and begin to prove yourself and just say, wait, hold a minute. I've been sweating this out. What's the worst thing that can happen to me on this? Will it kill me? Will I die? Why am I going through all of these changes over this? How much power does this really have? And am I the one that's feeding the power into it? See, a lot of times we allow ourselves to be fed and to be programmed into being afraid. I mean, you watch the news and read the newspaper, you'll be scared to come out the house. Am I right? You'd be afraid. So what kinds of things, what kinds of thoughts are you feeding your consciousness? What kind of things are you putting in your mind that will enable you to either move forward or to justify why you're staying where you are? I used to be a door-to-door salesman. I had X number of TVs. I had a minimum amount that I knew I had to sell every day in order to provide for my mother, who was ill at the time, who had lost her job at the M&M cafeteria because of arthritis. And I said, I'm going to go door to door, and sometimes I would not come home until 1 o'clock at night, knocking on people's door, people closing. What do you want? Would you like to buy a nice working month's television set, no money down? No. What about an Emerson TV? No. Thank you very much. Do you know anybody else that would be interested? No. Thank you very kindly. Knock on another. Hello. Would you like to buy a nice working television set, no money down? No, get away from our door. Thank you very kindly. Do you know anybody else would be? Yeah, my cousin, he lives 2 doors down. Thank you very kindly. I tell him you sent me. When I heard your cousin told me that you wanted to buy a television set, told me to come here and talk to you, we got a special discount for you. Yes, come in, I'm interested. I would just keep right on. I would not go home until I did it. It's an interesting thing, ladies and gentlemen, that when we put ourselves in a situation where we say we're going to do it, it puts you in another zone where the universe responds to you. When you have that kind of consciousness, see, the universe responds to the man or woman that refuses to be denied, because that is your commitment. That business that you want, that book you want to write, that dream that you have of controlling your destiny, that is yours. That power to create that and to manifest that, that is yours. That's available to you. But you've got to be willing to stand there and face disappointment, not have support, be lonely, doubt yourself sometimes, be rejected again and again and again, become bankrupt if necessary, again and again and again, and refuse to turn around until life gives it up. Nothing can resist a person that has that kind of commitment. The people that have made a difference on the planet. When a John F. Kennedy said, we will go to the moon in the next decade, he spoke it. That was a commitment, and people shared that vision. People bought into that. We've had all kinds of examples in history where people have made declarations, who have committed their lives to bring about a difference. There are people who are taking a stand today against hunger. I guarantee you it will be a part of our past at some point in time. Someone took a stand against polio. It no longer plagues us as it once did, because someone said, it is my commitment to eradicate it from the face of the earth. Someone made the commitment. The reason that we're here and enjoying the democracy that we have, someone made a commitment that whatever is required, if it means that I die. I remember Paul Robeson, here I stand, for I can do no other. And that's how you must be. Commitment means standing up for your life. It means honoring yourself. It means beginning to say and to see and recognize your alignment and oneness with the universe. and that you are a channel for life to express through. And we short-circuit it with anger, we short-circuit it with fear, we short-circuit it with envy, we short-circuit it by being lazy or apathetic or giving up easily. Why? We say, oh, it's too hard, it's too hard. We don't challenge our spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing as powerful as the human spirit. You can't destroy it. You can pervert it, but you can't destroy it. I was reading Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. What a powerful book. I'm reading it now for the 7th time. And he gives so many graphic examples of the power of the human spirit. And so what are some of the things that can fortify us and give us the kind of inner strength that will allow us to forward ourselves into the future by manifesting our commitments? Number one, commitment means in some cases going back to school, getting some training, sitting up in classes with people younger than you, putting yourself in a position where you don't know and that is awkward and uncomfortable, but because of your commitment to develop yourself or to go back to school to get a high school diploma or to get a college degree, that it doesn't matter, feeling dumb and saying, what am I doing here, sitting up in some boring class? Commitment could mean a lot of things. It could mean that you begin to go back. You got to back up sometimes. It means to back up and not give up, to regroup, back up and regroup and come back again. Because life has waylaid you, because you got knocked down. I think that it's very important that you start trusting yourself. Listen to yourself. Listen to that still small voice within you. Don't try and make everything logical. There's some things about life that defies logic, that you just can't explain how the outcome is going to be. That once you begin to trust yourself and your ideas and your instincts, life takes on a whole new meaning, because now I want you to do that feeling that you are led. Just feel, I am led. I remember the worst speech I had ever given in my life.
Your day sounds better with your music and your station playing on the background.
For years, I had a tremendous inferiority complex because I'm not college educated. And this person knew this. And she said, let me write this speech for you. You're going to speak at Ohio State University. Those people are very educated there, and they're going to know when you make grammatical errors, and they're going to know because of the substance of your speech that you are not literate. I care about you. I don't want you to embarrass yourself. So this person proceeded to write a speech for me. I had a speech in my mind, but this person was stronger than I was negatively.
Hi,
than I
this
was
is Yessie
positive
Leva,
about my
host
own
of
faults.
Yes with Yessie. Join me every Thursday at 6 p.m. for information, resources, and services available to individuals with disabilities in our community. Good evening, new season, good evening. Welcome to Yes with Yessie, o Sí con Yessie en español. Welcome. As you heard, just a platform where we come together, providing information, resources, motivation, inspiration, talking a little bit of this, a little bit of that, with you guys, the audience. And I'm a firm believer that you never know who you can help. You never know who needs information, who needs a word of inspiration, motivation, whatever we want to call it, right? I think that for sure, different people resonate with different voices. And for me, I didn't know that. I didn't know the power of that until I was introduced to this world of motivation, motivational speakers and self-development, women empowerment, all of that awesome stuff. That's when I learned that, there is power in it. There is power in networking. There's power in doing life together with other people. There is power in voices that, like I said, different voices do resonate with different people. I do believe that 100% it's happened with me. And so lately in the past couple shows or weeks or whatnot, I've been playing a motivational video of Les Brown, and that's a voice that resonates with me. I was introduced to the voice, I was introduced to the videos, and I've been listening to Les Brown for many years now. I was doing it daily, but then life gets in the way, and now, kind of back to it. But as much as possible, because I do get different messages that resonate with me, with what I live, and all that good stuff. So I encourage you, Pastor Akio, good evening. We're back. Excuse me. Thank you for joining. So I encourage you to find that voice. I encourage you not to do life alone, to find that voice that encourages you, that gets you up, that gets you moving, whatever it might be, whoever it might be. And of course, one that is motivating, powerful, inspiring, all the positive things that we want to hear, right? Or all the positive things that we want to know, hear, and even be, because what we hear, what we do, we shall become. All of it, right? All of it. And so I know I've been MIA. I know. Sorry going to kill me. I've been MIA for a couple weeks. It's just been a crazy past couple weeks, to say the least. And but always grateful. It's been a good past couple of weeks. New opportunities, new things happening, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Everything that comes with when we want to accomplish something, when we want to learn, when we want to excel, when we want to grow, we go through those growing pains. We go through those growing pains in order to grow. That is why, for me, it is so important that I and that you have that voice that resonates with us, that voice that we'll listen to, that it motivates you and I and pushes you not to give up. Because I know if I don't have those voices and those motivational videos, I know some people are not, a fan of them, but I am. I don't know that I would have had the strength to keep going and keep pushing through the things that I have. Not because I can't, literally, physically, mentally, and emotionally, but because when your mind gets in the way, it's like, should I be doing this? Is this for me? Do I know what I'm doing? Will I be okay? Am I going to make it through this? Like, am I that person for this role? Like, those are all the things that come into my mind, in a time where I need to make a decision or a new opportunity has presented itself, if you will. Those are all the kind of questions. And so it's really cool in that moment to be able to go back and tell somebody and be like, hey, I was just offered this, or this is what I'm going through. Like, what should I do? That's really cool to be able to do that. So I'm grateful that I can, because like I said, otherwise I'd be like, OMG, like, what am I doing? What should I do? And in addition to that, I have people around me that they ask me, well, did you talk to so-and-so? What did so-and-so say? I'm like, okay, that's a sign. I got to go back. And of course, always talking to God first in prayer, and like, God, talk to me. What should I do? So after going through, those thoughts and processes and planning and all that stuff, here we are. here I am. And it's really, really cool. I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I had an opportunity for management. I accepted officially. I officially accepted, of course, after receiving counsel and all that, because I was really like, should I do this? And I did, and it's going so far so good. I am now learning a different side of the disability world, or the world of disability services. Just when you think you know it all, or you know so much, boom, here's another area that you don't know so much about. And so I'm now doing the role, or playing the role, of group home manager for the company that I work for. And let me tell you, it is managing homes. You are literally managing a home and you're managing people. You're managing people, homes, schedules, everything you can possibly think of. Whatever you do in your home, food, grocery, everything. Like, that's what you do. And that's what I do now for multiple homes that house individuals with developmental disabilities. And I was I was very, I accepted it, and I love it, and I know I can do it, but I was scared. because I've never done it before. When something is not familiar, you get a little scared. I've never managed group homes before, but I've always worked in the disability world, right? And I've done management, and I've done supervised individuals. I've done the hiring and the termination and the interviewing. I've done all that stuff. So at the end of the day, I was, scared of something that I already have some kind of experience in, but I was focusing on the things that I did not have the experience in per se. And that's where I was like, okay, what are we doing? But it all turned out good. I'm grateful that I get to learn as I go as well. And I have people around me that are helping me by teaching me what I need to know. And just guiding me and mentoring me to do the best that I am being required to do in this job. And one of the coolest things, of course, for me is being able to work with the individuals that I get to work with, right? So every day, they call me Miss Jessie for the most part. And every day, Miss Jessie, are you coming to my group home today? Miss Jessie, are you coming to my group home today? So they look forward to me going and visiting them, and I get to see what they do on a day-to-day basis. And like I said, that's just like anybody else, right? For them, going to the program during the day is their activity, and they go home, they rest for a while, and their day goes on with showers, dinners, and chores, and just like you and I. So that's really cool to see that the staff are conscious of these individuals that we serve, and give them what most would call a quality of life, right? I'm not a fan of that word, but most people would call it quality of life. And so they get that on their day-to-day. Is there always room for improvement? Absolutely. So as I got into this role and I accepted it, and I had to take tests and go to different a class and just do so many things to get ready for it. Even though I already have all this experience, certifications and all that, I still had to do different things. So one of those things is, from a medical perspective, there's things that I need to know from a medical perspective. And I was really, shaky about that. I was like, I don't know about that. But I succeeded. Yay. I prayed and I studied, and we worked together as a team to get this done, and God always comes through. So I made it. I am officially, certified in the medical part when it comes to these individuals that we serve. And that's really cool. Because it's a whole different world than that of which I'm used to, in a sense, right? So I get to supervise. I don't necessarily have to do some things, but I have to know to do these, policies, processes, and procedures in order to ensure others are doing it correctly, if you will. So that's exciting. So with all of that, I was always feeling a little bit of insecurity, a little bit of fear, because it's like, can I do this? Should I be doing this? Like, should I be doing anything that has to do with medication? What if this happens? What if I, all these thoughts that go into your brain. And as I was getting the reassurance from others, like, we got you, like, you're learning, just like others that are amongst the team, they're learning as well. And we're doing this thing together. And now I'm doing what I thought I wouldn't be able to do. A couple weeks later, not even, it's been pretty quick. And so during that time, it's experiencing the fear. At the end of the day, it's experiencing the fear. Some people were even telling me, like, are you sure you will be able to do this? They know me well enough to know that I'm not exactly a, how should I call it? I'm not exactly somebody that, short and sweet and to the point. Like, don't give me 10 million steps that you need me to follow. Like, short steps, so I don't forget anything. I'm kind of can be forgetful and stuff like that. So I know that, though. So I have to write notes. I have to have a notebook. I have to be organized and have my files with everything and all this different stuff. So it helped me. Those feedbacks helped me to remember my weaknesses, if you will, and work to organize myself, so that I am successful in those things. And so that was part of my fear. Will I be able to be successful in this role with these things that I know that I that need improvement in me and in my life personally? And again, it taught me that I needed to use the tools that I have of being organized, making sure everything is on point, making sure I write everything down, like everything. You see how I'm usually the one writing notes in the chats and writing like everything in Bible study and stuff. Yes, that is for you guys, but that is also for me to remember, to better remember, to memorize different things. It helps me to listen to it, and then it helps me to write it down, and then it helps me to go back and listen to it again and read it again and do all the things that I have to do to better understand and or to memorize different things. And so I know that about me already, of course, and I know that I have to make sure that I do the note taking and whatever I have to do to remember the things that I have to do. So it's been really cool. It's been a really cool experience. And what happens is that sometimes, if I would have listened to myself and if I would have embraced that fear that I was feeling, number one, I wouldn't have done it. I would not have accepted. And then I remembered, feel the fear and do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. So I did it. I had the conversation. I remembered why I was doing it. I remembered why I was accepting this particular position, because we all do something for a reason, right? There's never a moment where we don't know why we're doing something. We're doing it for a reason. And so I remembered my why. I remembered my whys behind accepting this particular position, whether it's to have a different position, whether it was to learn a different world, a different subject or a different matter of the disability world, whether it was to be more in contact with clients in a different setting, whether it was financially, from a financial perspective, whatever it was, I had to learn my reasoning behind it. And so that helped me to stay motivated and to say, all right, this is why I'm doing this. Of course, in addition to the fact that I love the work, I genuinely love the work, and being able to do different things while being able to see the students, because that's like my big thing, like being able to see the students and be a part of what they do on a day-to-day basis is important to me. So having all of that in mind, was when I was like, all right, cool, I'll do. I said yes and I accepted. And so in that moment though, I couldn't, as we were listening earlier to the audio, I had to remember not to allow the fear, right? I had to remember not to allow the fear to govern my life. Because I could have listened to that fear and said, I'm not doing this. And I said yes. I said yes. So we can't allow that fear, whatever it is, to govern you, to make you say no, or kind of affect your success or affect the fact that you want to, meet certain goals. You can't let the fear that you are feeling at that moment, for a moment of fear, just really change the trajectory of your life and the impact that you can potentially have, or the potential impact that it could have on your life, right? Because we allow fear to govern our life, and so what's the worst that could happen, right? Always thinking, all right, I take this, I do this opportunity, I do whatever I have to do. What is the worst that can happen? Well, the worst thing that can happen is that you realize that you can't do it, that, you weren't prepared, and it wasn't for you. And then you keep it moving and go and do something else, right? And I did sounds terrible, but I did have a plan B in case, something happened with this particular role. I was like, all right, this is my plan B, right? But I'm not focused on that plan B. And I don't think we ever should be focused on that plan B, because when we say yes, I'm not just saying yes for me. I'm not just saying yes to this particular role, but I'm saying yes to the purpose that God has for me in my life, which is why I'm in this role. Because if it wasn't a God-given purpose, if it's not a God-given purpose, I don't want the role, right? So what is our plan in doing all this? What is our why behind doing what it is that we are doing? And always remembering that why. When we want to give up, when we want to say no, when we want to throw in the towel, when we are feeling a certain kind of way, that we're upset, depressed, anxious, whatever it is, always remembering the why you started, right? The why you started, the reason you started, the reason you're doing what you're doing. I know I have to remind myself, like, all right, Jessie, may I remind you that you have a developmental disability yourself. You have health issues yourself that you have to take care of. You have to rest. You have to do all these things. Do you really want to work, and provide services to other people with disabilities as you've been doing for, I don't know, over 15 years or so? Like, I have to literally remind myself, and my answer is always yes, because that is my God-given purpose. It is my God-given purpose, and I honestly and truly don't see myself doing anything else. It's just not an option. So I got to make it work. In the meantime, in between time, I'm also continuing to work on my business. So having to had scheduled myself accordingly to where I'm not, for a lack of a better word, where I'm not abandoning, is that a word? One or the other, it's a big deal, because when I seek counsel, the first thing I was asked is, what about your business? And I was like, I'm still doing that. That's not going anywhere. It's coming. But I had to accommodate my schedule, accommodate the, my willingness to do both in the meantime, and not put it on the back burner, right? Because that business is a business that was born on purpose for a purpose, and that will never go anywhere for as long as I am living and breathing. So I had to do that as well, accommodating my business, my schedule, all of that. So what is it that we have to do in order to accommodate what is that we want to accomplish? With the fear and everything, what is it that we have to do to accomplish what we want to accomplish? And what is it that we can do to ease the insecurity, to ease the fear, to ease the perhaps sense of, I don't want to do this thing, I want to give up this thing, right? What can we do about that? And I think it's for sure, for me, it's preparation. It's preparation, and it's asking the questions. It's when you talk about it, like when I speak about this opportunity that I was given, and I speak about it, and I go back and forth with someone, that person, they ask you questions, sometimes uncomfortable questions, but true questions, and that make you think of, okay, should I really do this? Like, why am I doing this? Again, what is the why behind why I am doing this? And when you realize all of those things, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, for me, I do better when I hear it out loud, right? Like, if I hear it in my mind or whatever, I don't hear it. But when I'm going back and forth with someone and I'm hearing it out loud, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh, that's why I'm doing this. Or, oh, that's why I should not do this, one or the other. And then you kind of balance the positives and the negatives and go from there, right? So that is always, that's always important. And, I had my reasons for doing this, as I mentioned, and a lot of them were personal reasons. And one of those reasons was to empower myself. I think sometimes we focus so much on doing something for someone else, or because somebody else wants you to do it. I'm doing this because my grandma wants me to do it, or my mom wants me to do it, but not because you truly want to do it. But in those conversations, I realized that I wanted to do it for me. I wanted to do it to empower myself. I feel a certain type of way when all we as people with disabilities are told, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't make this much money. If you make more than a certain amount, you're going to lose everything. And then, not to say, this is kind of weird, but not to say that we should care what other people think about us. Absolutely not. But there are people in our lives that kind of prejudge you because you have this disability, because you have these limitations you have absolutely no control over. I was having those feelings of like, what? I'm going to get this. I'm going to, accept this job, and I'm going to, thank God, have a higher salary and I'm going to be good and I'm going to make more money. And I just like, I felt like this job is going to take me to the next level in everything that I want to do. Not just because I would be making more money, but because in doing so, there was going to be more opportunity for everything, whether it's, you know, business, personal, and stuff like that. And it was going to silence those voices that I felt were kind of against me when it came to, my success, in a sense. Our differences, our different viewpoints in my success. Some people view success or measure success, rather, the difference in how we were measuring success. And in this case, my success. Some people measure success in how they impact lives. Some people measure success in how they make money or how somebody else makes money, right? And to me, that's not how I measure success. But I do know that it is important to make money, right? It's important. You can't. It's like you can't move without it. You can't do certain things without it, right? So it's important to make the money. And so, at this point, I was going to be able to work, make an impact, make some money, work on my business, work it all together. In the process to get to the next level. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. And I'm excited that I get the support from every area to be able to do that. So if I would have listened to the fear, I would not have had the opportunity to mix, if you will, to be able to work on all those aspects of my life, whether it's even self-development, learning something new, my business, the company I'm working for, more funds coming in for life, period. And in turn, helping me, be more successful or get to a different level in my business. If I would have said no, and if I would have listened to the fear again, I wouldn't have been able to do all that stuff. Right. So when I think about it, what are we allowing to get into our head? What are we allowing to get into our head? Whose voices are we listening to? Whose voices are we listening to? Because throughout this whole process of the change in work and the change of schedule and coming and going and, having to change my life around, including being here with you guys, it became a lot, right? And if I would have let it would have been something super overwhelming, where I was like, no, devil, it's not what we're doing. and here I am with you guys, because this is important to me. It's important for me to be here, and it's one of my priorities, right? What we prioritize, we give our energy and our time to. So, so if you're feeling a certain type of way about something, about a decision that you have to make, about a change, I can definitely tell you, pray on it. Prayer changes things. Prayer gives you clarity. Prayer gives you just peace, all of it. And ask God those questions, and He will answer in different ways. Trust me, but He will answer, and He will use the people around you to give you that guidance. Also, your gatekeepers, your destiny holders, to help you along the way. And it just becomes so much lighter and so much better to carry, versus when we were trying to, do this all on our own in fear. And then we just kind of like bury ourselves in that fear, and making it really hard to get back up and get out of that fear, right? So I want to encourage you, as I always do, not to do life alone. Keep doing life in community. Keep doing life as we have been called to live, in community. Living life by ourselves is not going to get us very far. Always, have people, if it's even one person that that you can call and talk to, and seek advice, counsel, a word of encouragement, and everything's going to be okay, whatever it is that'll keep you going. And remember your vision. Always remember why you started. Always remember why you started, but remember, it's not how we start, it's how we finish. It's not how we start, it's how we finish. But if we give up along the way, then we won't finish, will we? So always remember why you started. Remember your why. Remember your why. And I thank God, as crazy as it sounds, I thank God that my why literally comes from my life. Like my why literally comes from the experiences that I have lived for my life that now I get to do for other people, which is, you know, pretty awesome when you get this position with the group homes that I received. You know, these guys don't just need a place to live. So much more that, you know, the people in the picture right now really don't have time or don't see maybe what it is that they will need. But God has given me that skill, that talent, that experience, that personal life experience to be able to go in there and say, hey, this person needs this and this and this. This person needs, you know, whether it's equipment, personal supply, whatever, for their independence, for their continued independence in this group home. And that's really cool from my perspective to be able to do. So yeah, it's really cool. So always remember your why. Remember your why. And if you have a personal experience like I do, you know, don't underestimate the power of your own story. I did for a long time. I did for a long time. I underestimated the power of my story. I thought I didn't have a story. And not only do I have a story, I have a testimony. My life is a testimony. My life is a testimony that I get to now, you know, share with others, and not only in what I do, but, you know, globally, etc. Just to give you that hope that if I can do it, you can do it too. Never giving up, because quitting is never an option. Quitting is never an option. So just to encourage you, don't quit. Don't quit. We've heard it before. You will hear it over and over and over again. Don't quit. Keep it moving. Do what you can with what you have. We are going to do it. You know, always tell yourself we are going to do it, and always refuse to get denied. Always refuse to get denied and say yes to his will, yes to his way, and you won't get denied. Absolutely not. Because God doesn't want you to be denied. That's not why he kept you here on this earth. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining Yes with Yessie. Remember, don't let fear take over. Refuse to get denied. Keep it moving. Say yes to his will, yes to his way, and everything is going to be all right. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight on Yes with Yessie. I was super excited to be back here with you guys, and it makes it a good part of my day, an awesome part of my day. My day is complete now this Thursday. All right. So thank you guys for joining, and I encourage you to come on back, always to hear a positive information, resources, etc. here on Yes with Yessie. Please do me a favor and visit Yes with Yessie. Yes with Yessie, just like the show. YesWithYessie.com, or you can see what Yes with Yessie is all about. If you need information, resources, you need help with any application, you need help with just understanding and learning what it is that perhaps you may qualify for, visit Yes with Yessie. Also, I want to invite you to visit DPT, and that stands for Disability Programs and Training, dptmanagement.org, dptmanagement.org. That is my baby that I share with you guys. Again, if you or anyone you know is in need of services, whether it's advocacy, government benefits, SSI, Social Security Disability, food stamps, Medicaid, information and resources. Maybe you want to learn how to do it for yourself or a family member. I'd be glad to teach you. You need community inclusion into activities, into social events. You want to, just start a new hobby or something that you need help finding a place in community. I can help you as well. Of course, if you want to be a part of Funclusion Productions, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen Funclusion before, and that's just a platform to inspire inclusion of individuals with disabilities through entertainment. And so that has really opened so many doors for exposure in media and helping people around the world, like you and I. And that's been an amazing gift that I've been able to do for over 10 years as well. So if you have diva sons and daughters out there with disabilities, hey, Funclusion is for them. It's so much fun, and they learn self-development, eye contact, and all these things. So you can visit funclusion.com, funclusion.com. I think it's funclusion.org, actually, funclusion.org, funclusion.org, or just reach out to me directly and I can guide you to it. So you got advocacy, you got government benefits, information, resources, community inclusion, Funclusion Productions. You need a mentor, you need someone to just pour life into you, a speaker, anything like that, independent living skills, and any kind of employment related resources. Or you want to learn like, hey, I receive benefits, but I want to go to work and I'm being told if I work, I lose my benefits. What do I do? That's me. I can help you with all those things. All right. So again, dptmanagement.org, or you can also visit Yes with Yessie. Okay. Yes with Yessie. So again, thank you guys for joining Yes with Yessie, courtesy of New Season Gospel FM. I want to encourage you to support your #1 gospel station, New Season Gospel FM. Support, because we wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. So ways to give are scrolling on the screen. You got PayPal, word47 at hotmail.com, word47 at hotmail.com. Zelle is 954-536-1821. And of course, you got Cash App, $ New Season WC. Cash App, $ New Season WC, so you can support New Season Gospel FM. I look forward to seeing you guys, God's willing, tomorrow on a fun Friday. Friday. All right. So see you guys tomorrow morning for In His Presence prayer time, first thing in the morning at 6:30 a.m., followed by the Pastor Steve show right after that. Okay. And then, of course, if you're looking for a church home, I look forward to seeing you right here at New Season Worship Center in Lauderhill, Florida, 4660 North University Drive in Lauderhill on Sunday at 11 a.m. as the family of God comes together to praise and to worship at 11 a.m., inclusive to everyone here at New Season. All right. With that being said, have an amazing rest of your day. Get some rest. I know I am ready to get some rest myself, and I look forward to seeing you next Thursday, God's willing, on another episode of Yes with Yes.